Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the IMAA's Insights and Innovation series for this wonderful and yet chilly Monday, where we've got our friends from Brand Space joining us today. Wonderful partners of the IMAA, and Burz and Justin joining us. They're going to talk you through insights and everything you need to know when it comes to planning for Christmas. So, guys, over to you, and I'll keep my mouth quiet.
Thank you, Sam. So today we wanted to talk to you about the holiday season. Now, some of you are probably rolling your eyes. We're just about to start August, and we're already talking about Christmas. However, for us here at Westfield, Christmas is actually the busiest time of the year. It's a time that is more competitive than ever. So we want to use our customer insights to help you plan for success, and also to give you the competitive edge this holiday season. But first, we wanted to set the scene. So we here at Brand Space, our mission is to connect customers and communities with extraordinary Westfield destinations and connect you with insights and data on your customer behaviors to help you plan for success. So we create vibrant destinations that are already designed to keep customers coming back more often and for longer. In 2023, it was one of our largest and best years in our 60-year history. 512 million customer visits and over $25 billion in sales across our 42 destinations. And the reason why we're talking to you all about this is because we have customers at scale and data to analyze and predict customers' attitudes and behaviors as well. But before we deep dive into trends and insights, we need to understand the landscape of retail as a whole. We own and operate each of our destinations, and that's the main USP that we have, because not all of the destinations in this market and across the landscape are considered equal. The retail landscape can be broken down into three main sizes. So you've got small, medium, and large destinations. And Australia has a large volume of small centres, and these play an important role in the landscape, but each has its comparatively small amount of spend and visits. With large centres, on average, we see roughly about 11 times more sales and 8 times more visits. And these large destinations are where spend and visitations amongst the highest value customers are concentrated. And when we're talking about Westfield, we're the largest owner and operators of large centres in Australia. So we own half of all large centres, which gives us a unique understanding of how our customers are spending and as well as how they're visiting too. But why are we talking about Christmas? For us, it's our Super Bowl event, and success is our seasonal tradition. So when you think Christmas, you actually think about Westfield. We see a huge amount of visitors across Christmas. It's a time where we have more customers than any other time, which means more efficiencies for brands and more effective reach. And it's where a large portion of our year is made. And it's at that time that it's incredibly important for marketers and retailers to be a part of our destinations as well. And because of our premium destinations, our Christmas stands apart from the rest. We're in a unique position because unlike any other retail providers, we are growing significantly. We outpaced the total retail industry, and our growth was driven by a combination of our premium destinations and our premium customers as well. And this success spans multiple categories, both essential and discretionary too. Our growth wasn't just in gifting, but also essentials. People come to us for our Christmas help and for their Christmas shop. This includes high year-on-year growth, but also higher growth than pre-COVID levels. This includes dining, health, beauty, supermarkets, tech, appliances, and food sales, all some of the top growing categories that we see across the market too. And our Christmas authority and success gives us the ability to understand customers' behaviors, and we want to explore three customer trends that drove the season. Seasonal altruism. So we'll explore the power of generosity as driving force behind consumers' essentials and non-essential spending. Blended inspiration. We'll explore how physical channels become a more important channel for research and inspiration during the Christmas period. And then finally, shifting the mindsets. We explore five mindsets that are guiding Christmas behaviors and where they emerge during the season as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Bez. So across these next sections, I'll sort of take you through the data that we've seen around these trends, and then Bez will take you through some of the implications of them. The first trend that we see is seasonal altruism. And like I said, this one's all about generosity and how this becomes such a powerful emotional driver, not just for gifting, but also for spending on essentials and discretionary, whatever you might have during the season. So let's start to unpack that. Australians indicated to us that despite economic pressures, Christmas was a time where they didn't want to compromise. Again, we do need to acknowledge that the economic climate is challenged and there are quite significant headwinds there. But despite this, our customers said that the vast majority intended to spend the same or more on gifts. So 9 in 10 intending to spend the same or more on gifts as last year, and 1 in 2 explicitly saying that they aim to splurge during Christmas. But the important thing is we saw this not just in their claimed behaviors, but also in how they were actually spending. And it was quite interesting when we started to break that down and how this sort of sentiment of generosity manifested throughout the season. There's a couple of different ways that this happened. First, we saw that across the board, charity donations were actually the highest year-on-year growth categories across the lead up to Christmas, particularly across Gen Z and millennial demographics. We saw this manifesting as well in interesting ways during Black Friday. Cast your eyes back to 2019. It used to be a time primarily for treating ourselves, but it's now flipped around completely, and it's now a time for treating others and a key.
Sorry, Justin, you've just gone on mute for a second.
And we've lost the screen.
Yep, we're back. Can you guys see me?
Yep, got you. Go to presentation mode and rewind about 30 seconds.
Cool. Someone probably didn't like the sound of my voice and put me on mute. Let me hold fire.
Can you guys see that?
Can you guys see that?
Fab.
Yep.
So where did we head off last? Did you guys hear about how we were talking about charity donations?
Yes, that's where it started.
Yeah, perfect. So again, just recapping, obviously charity donations were, well, not obviously because it was surprising to us that charity donations were actually some of the highest categories of growth across spending in general across the year, really showing that seasonal generosity. And then across Black Friday, we saw a shift in sentiment in gifting for yourself to gifting for others. Last but not least, we saw an increased behavior in gifting for hosts during that time. So people hosting more Christmas events, but importantly, those people hosting Christmas events being the ones who are the most likely to be spending the most, being the most likely to spend over $1,000 on gifts. And again, there is a lot of nuance in how we gift, but what we've been seeing here is that generosity is such a strong emotional driver. We spend more on our loved ones than ourselves, and we buy more essentials if we're going to be sharing those with our loved ones. And even when we treat ourselves, we're finding that people are increasingly looking for excuses to make them feel better about spending. It's a phenomenon called licensing effect, the sense that we feel better about treating ourselves if that spending is helping others as well.
So let's explore what that means for brands and how they can tap into this trend. We is more important than me. During the season, both from a gifting perspective, but also from a self-treating perspective, to think about how your brand can make people feel about what they buy, even if it is for themselves, and how can you make your purchase more meaningful, whether it's giving to charity with every purchase or saving the environment too. And then finally, it's also important to think about the Christmas host. Those hosting events are big spenders and are looking for inspiration on how to make their Christmas events even more special. Think about how you can tailor your message and media towards them for non-discretionary purchases and essentials as well. So here's an example of ways that brands have done it well. Energizer was actually a great example. They sponsored our gift wrapping experience across both AU and NZ, because one thing you always forget to buy before you wrap the toys for your kids is the batteries. So they intercepted a moment of generosity and enabled families to treat their kids, but also went further and helped raise charitable donations, making families feel even better for spending. So this is a great way of showing how enabling generosity can actually engage customers and drive that conversion as well.
Awesome. And moving on to our next trend, and this one is all about blended inspiration. And what this really means is that the purchase channels and the research channels for Christmas are blending together. So let's start with the physical experience and how it's becoming more important for shopping during the season. Traditionally, physical retail has really been thought of as more of a purchase channel. It's where people buy things. But we've seen over the last few years this desire for using the physical experience as a research channel becoming more prevalent, particularly during Christmas. 52% of people said that being unable to try something before they bought them frustrated them about online shopping, and 77% said that they were driven towards an in-store purchase by the desire for quality control. And it's this desire to make sure that what we buy for our loved ones is right. We want to test the products, trial them, and touch and feel them to really understand the quality of them before we buy during Christmas. And it's really interesting to see how this manifests as well in physical purchase behaviors. We have a partnership with CBAIQ, which really reveals to us how customers are shopping during the season and where they're shopping. And 77% of purchases made during the season were made in store. We also found that 56% of customers were using our shopping destinations, for gifting inspiration. That's higher than the proportion using the brand's website for research, as well as higher than the proportion using Google search even. That's why we saw nearly 150 million visits across the quarter, because shoppers were coming to the centres not just to buy, but also to browse with purpose. They want to be inspired, and we're also using us as a key research channel.
So what does this mean for brands? Firstly, we really do encourage that you think about the connected experience. Online and offline are not separate channels. They're connected parts of your customer's journey. During different times and occasions, different channels become more and more valued as a research channel. During the high involvement purchases, the physical channel becomes more important. So think about how you can create opportunities for physical inspiration during the Christmas time. But the physical space can just be as cluttered as a digital one. Standing out through tapping into the power of novelty and immersing the customer in your brand are key ways to getting through this, getting cut through during this busy time. And there is a perfect example in Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker used an immersive experience to create that moment of physical and research and inspiration as well. So they fitted out one of our vacant stores during the lead up to Christmas and gave customers, that was just on Pitt Street Mall, and gave customers the chance to really immerse themselves in the brand through an amazing physical space in the store. They had storytelling about the heritage of Johnny Walker, spoke about the craftsmanship and the physical research experience, such as tasting, tasting as well as whiskey masterclasses. This activation saw over 1,600 tastings, but more importantly, 1 in 4 of those tastings actually resulted in sales as well.
Awesome. And the last trend that we'll take you guys through is all around shifting mindsets. And this one's about how the customer is behaving very differently to how they do across the rest of the year, and how mindsets can inform how we follow, how they change their journey. So just to start off with, the magic across Christmas isn't just confined to, say, the Black Friday period or the last 2 weeks of December. It really does span the whole season, with the customer journey spanning the 3-month lead up into Christmas. So the journey kicks off in October, with nearly half of customers starting their Christmas shop then. It then kicks into gear during November, but not just across Black Friday. The entire month sees increased spending and visitation. It's sort of a longer tail period where people are planning for Black Friday earlier across the season. Finally, the dominance of December is still very clear. That period has 63% greater sales than any other month and 24% greater customer visits than any other month. So it's still a key period to reach, both from a retail spending and a retail visitation perspective. But we know that customers have different behaviors during the season compared to the standard times of the year. On average, we're buying around 11 gifts for people, for 11 different people, I should say, and across categories that we normally wouldn't shop. But while our behaviors change, our entrenched motivations are what's guiding those behaviors. And last year, we used our EQ and our IQ, as we like to say, to understand and segment Australia into 8 different mindsets. We worked with a third-party researcher to test that thinking and identify key characteristics of those mindsets. Then, with our partnership with CBA IQ, we were able to target those mindsets using customer behaviors and spending patterns. This helped us understand where, when, and how customers are spending across the year, but then it helped us understand what are the dominant mindsets during Christmas and the holiday season as well. So across the season, there were 5 key mindsets that emerged as dominant across those 3 months, but they all peaked at different times. In October, for example, the avid explorer sees their peak, and this customer is spontaneous. They seek inspiration and look to browse and do early research for their Christmas shopping during October. A creative and messaging approach that would work really well with this audience, based on our research, is social proof. This audience likes to follow trends and they're looking for inspiration physically. Then in November, the value seeker, so those who are seeking out discounts and savings, and the quality investor, high spenders on premium and luxury, see their peak. This is the time where customers are looking to take advantage of deals, as well as buy premium high quality products early. In this time of the month, lean into urgency. Give your customers the sense that time is running out to take advantage of your discounts, and also lean into signifiers of luxury, craftsmanship, and scarcity to highlight your premium quality of your products. Finally, December, that most important time of the year, is the time for the purposeful planner. So those with a shopping list they stick to, who also tend to be the hosts of the season, and the undecided gifter, those who know who they're buying for but don't know what they're actually buying. 2 completely different sides of the spectrum. The planner, who's primarily buying groceries during this period, gravitates towards reliable products. So lean into the credibility and practical uses of your brand. And then the undecided gifter, who shares the same DNA with that avid explorer, is in center looking for inspiration but unsure of what to buy. So lean into novelty bias. A lot of brands are going to be vying for their attention, so think of ways to disrupt the routine and be unexpected during the season.
What we know is that targeting using our proprietary mindsets, customer segmentation can be done to drive greater engagement for your campaigns. In a time where customer behavior is less predictable as they purchase gifts for others, what can be relied on is the entrenched motivations that come with those purchases. This data-led approach can help you find efficiencies throughout your campaigns as well. So we worked with a premium car brand to understand the effectiveness of different targeting approaches using our customer engagement. What we did was we actually split the targeting between demographics and the affluent, a combination of a luxury retailer and within proximity, but also a quality investor. We saw that data-led targeting provided to be more effective approach in driving engagement. So it was 67% higher engagement on average than the demographic-led targeting approach. We know that behaviors change no matter your demographic when it comes to our Christmas and when it comes to Christmas. Our mindsets and our new mindset targeting capabilities goes beyond demographics to understand what drives customers to make those purchase decisions. So these are entrenched and are generally agnostic. They are motivations that can allow you to help follow their non-typical journey throughout their destinations as well. So we'd encourage you all to test this out and tap into our measurement suite. We're bringing the precision of digital measurement into the physical space. So the first one is customer engagement. Using facial detection technology, we can actually detect and track the attention and engagement across every single one of our smart screens. What this allows us to do, it allows us to understand how your creative is performing and how we're able to optimize your campaigns. So we can also tap into our customer panel of over 17,000 customers to measure brand uplift studies and understand the impact of your activity on brand awareness, consideration, and perception with those in Scentre while your campaign was active. And then finally, we're currently working with CBA to develop customer impact reports. And what that's going to allow us to do is it will allow us to understand the impact of your campaign on actual sales uplift data as well. So some really powerful ways of being able to kind of measure success over this seasonal period. So what does this mean for your brands? So customers behave differently and plans should reflect this. We're not buying for ourselves and our journeys are different. That's why you'll find greater efficiencies by following the journey of customers based on their mindsets rather than their demographic or proximity-based journey. And this can even go further by tailoring your creative strategies to their mindset, ensuring that your product has greater engagement, influence, and ultimately cut through over the festive season. So what do we want you to think about after all of this? I know that there was a lot of information, but wrapping it all up. So first we talked about the seasonal altruism. To tap into this, think about how you can make your audience feel good about treating others, but also treating themselves. Next is the blended inspiration. So where physical channels become their primary sources of research during the season, think how we're able to give your audience opportunities for research and inspiration while they're browsing Christmas retail destinations. And last but not least, it's shifting the mindsets. So would love for you to come away from this presentation and thinking about how you can tailor your plan to your audience's seasonal mindsets and journey as well.
And that's it from us. Were there any other questions around from the group, or I think there's quite a lot of data that we have here and also at our disposal to sort of answer any customer questions that we have. So happy to take anything offline as well.
Guys, are there any questions for the team? And so often there isn't, so we can connect anyone through to you guys afterwards. Thank you guys for that. Always very, very interesting, and you know, you guys know that retail and that Christmas space better than anyone. So thank you for sharing with the rest of the members and your ongoing support of the IMAA. Thank you very much. Members, thank you very much, everyone. Put in your diaries the 18th of September for the Pitchcella event, where we're all going to catch up at the Beresford. Have a great week. If anyone needs us, you know where to find us. Talk to everyone soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.